Hello everyone, we've recently seen numerous snapshots of players during their workout sessions. This includes glimpses of individuals like Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis in their training routines. Naturally, LeBron James stands out among them. He's the one you never really doubt, investing heavily in his fitness more than most of us could ever fathom. LeBron epitomizes athletic excellence and dedication to health. He remains one of the most outstanding athletes in history. Even as he ages, he never ceases to amaze, consistently pushing boundaries. Recent photos confirm his impeccable shape. It's hardly surprising to see LeBron in prime condition. With preparations in full swing, LeBron's exclusive players-only camp is just around the corner, followed by the official training camp and then the new season. I'm brimming with anticipation. In my view, the current lineup could be the most well-rounded team LeBron has ever been part of. While he's been part of teams that were heavy at the top, with strong initial players, this team boasts nearly 13 players who could be considered for significant roles. At least 10 of them are potential starters. The previous season's core starting group, including Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, might likely continue this season, maintaining that team synergy. I suspect that's the direction they'll be leaning towards. I believe they might experiment a bit. For example, when facing Minnesota, starting Rui might be a strategy to counteract Cat. Alternatively, a lineup featuring Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis could be an option. Perhaps they might test waters by placing Gabe Vincent in the point guard position and Rui in the forward position, adapting to specific game scenarios. The team's flexibility is evident. In terms of depth and talent, the lineup from 1 to 14 is impressive. There's still a potential spot that might be filled by players like Christian Wood or another talent. If the Lakers do onboard Wood, he could even be a contender for the starting position. The Lakers' current setup puts them and LeBron James in an advantageous position. As LeBron approaches his 39th year, it's a common trajectory to see players, who once dominated, gradually diminish in their contributions. Some former star players end up merely filling roles or providing locker room guidance, averaging much fewer points than in their prime. However, LeBron's previous season showcased him as possibly a top 5 or at least a top 10 player, registering impressive stats. Each season, there's speculation about LeBron's decline due to age, but he consistently proves naysayers wrong. However, one aspect that's becoming a concern is his susceptibility to injuries. Since joining the Lakers, he's faced a variety of injuries, ranging from minor to major, which could be an indicator of the strain his long and illustrious career has put on his body. He contended with a foot issue, and there were whispers about him needing surgery. LeBron's stance was clear: if he chose to undergo surgery, he'd keep it under wraps. Observing him now, he seems fit and primed for training camp. Whether he opted for the procedure remains unknown and isn't our primary concern. What's worrying is if this foot problem might linger and affect him throughout his career. The silver lining with the current team roster, abundant in talent and depth, is that LeBron isn't compelled to push himself to the limits. Last season, he appeared to shoulder a lot, possibly in pursuit of surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the all-time top scorer. The strain was evident when he got injured shortly after reaching this milestone. He stretched himself thin. While it's one thing to pull off extraordinary feats during a few playoff games, maintaining that intensity over a prolonged stretch, say 30 continuous games, is grueling. Even with LeBron's Herculean efforts, there were instances where he scored 30-plus points, and the Lakers couldn't clinch the win. However, with the current team, there's optimism. The Lakers seem poised to secure victories even if LeBron is sidelined, be it due to injury or simply to grant him some much-needed rest, ensuring he's in prime condition when it matters most. Heading into the playoffs, I've always held the view, and I remain confident that even if LeBron James decided to return just 10 games before the playoffs, ensuring his peak health, the Lakers would still secure their playoff berth. Of course, this would hinge significantly on an MVP-caliber performance from Anthony Davis, but he's been in phenomenal shape lately. With the likes of Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and Rui Hachimura on board, who have all showcased their potential to score 20 or even 30 points on any given night, the team's prospects look promising. Each of these players not only can score but also bring diverse skills to the table, including defense. My projection for the Lakers this season is that they'd rank first in defense and among the top 5 in offense. Such a performance would undoubtedly place them among the league's elite, especially considering that only the Boston Celtics achieved a top 5 position in both offense and defense last season. The Lakers previously stood first in defense and 7th in offense. Anticipating this season, I foresee the Lakers averaging between 118 to 120 points per game. Some might argue that this is overly optimistic, but considering they averaged 116 points last season and with the rise of players like Austin Reeves, a full season with D'Angelo Russell, and Rui Hachimura, it's plausible to expect a slight increase in their average score. It's quite apparent that the Lakers are poised for a solid season, even with the challenges that their demanding schedule presents. While LeBron is essential to the team's success, I genuinely believe this team has the capacity to navigate the playoffs even if LeBron is absent for over 20 games. However, expecting him to sit out 25 to 30 games might be a stretch. To be in the running for certain accolades, he would need to play a minimum of 65 games, and it's unlikely he'd forego that. I could envision LeBron averaging around 30 minutes each game. Many argue against this, pointing to LeBron's track record. However, during the bubble season, he averaged around 32 minutes, and since joining the Lakers, he's largely maintained a 32 to 35 minute per game average, barring the 2021 to 2022 season alongside Carmelo and Russ, where he logged in about 37 minutes. Therefore, the idea of LeBron reducing his playtime by a minute or two isn't far-fetched. Moreover, LeBron is acutely aware of the need to pace himself. He must have assessed the team's roster, gauged the depth and talent, and drawn confidence from their recent performance in the Western Conference Finals. It's evident that he's contemplating reducing his on-court responsibilities. After their triumph in the bubble season, he expressed a desire to shed the point guard role and reduce his duties, alluding to the inevitability of age. This current roster gives him that flexibility. LeBron is undoubtedly a force on the court. When he steps on, you can bet he's good for at least 20 points, that's just the LeBron effect. However, while I believe he'll continue to rack up his average points, I can also envision scenarios where he limits his playing time to around 30 minutes in some games. There might even be instances where he only clocks in 15 minutes. Remember, LeBron has a streak of double-digit scores that he's keen on preserving. So, don't be surprised if in some games he quickly racks up his 10 points in the early quarters and then significantly reduces his time on the court for the rest of the game, possibly playing just 3 to 4 minutes in subsequent quarters. Given the new regulations, he needs to participate in a minimum of 65 games a season, so he's adjusting his strategy accordingly. From recent photos and conversations, it's clear LeBron is hard at work preparing. The bottom line is, LeBron's dedication isn't in question. Moreover, I anticipate him being more open to sharing the limelight. Austin Reeves, in particular, is someone to watch out for this season with the Lakers. LeBron's past interactions with him indicate a willingness to let Reeves take the lead at times, which might hint at a strategic shift for the Lakers in the coming games. It seems the Lakers are keen on giving Austin Reeves more responsibilities as a point guard, letting him take charge of playmaking and ball handling. If this is the strategic direction, it would make sense for LeBron James to step aside slightly, allowing Reeves to shine and shoulder more responsibilities. Similarly, with talents like D'Angelo Russell on the roster, it's possible he could also take a bit of a back seat and let Russell drive some of the game dynamics during the regular season. Both Reeves and Russell have shown their scoring prowess. Russell averaged 17 to 6 last season, while Reeves, when he got to the playoffs, nearly posted a 17 per game average. These stats indicate that they can consistently score around 20 points per game and add a decent number of assists. There's a belief that Reeves could even average around 18 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. While some might argue that these numbers are all-star level, and indeed they are, it's essential to remember that the NBA has evolved. In today's game, scoring 25 points per game doesn't necessarily place you among the game's elite like it might have in previous eras. The benchmarks have shifted, and it's crucial to recognize and appreciate the talents of today within the context of the contemporary NBA. Carmelo Anthony's career average was around 23 points per game. But last year, we saw nearly 30 players scoring between 18 to 30 points a game. That's remarkable, showing that offensive numbers are on the rise. Nowadays, more teams are hitting an average of 115 points per game than ever before. So, when you consider a 25-5 stat line in the current NBA, it's akin to the 10-3-3 stats from 2 decades ago. And not every high scorer is necessarily an elite player. For instance, Tyreke Evans, early in his career, clocked in a 25-5 average. Austin Reeves' stint with Team USA is proving beneficial. Historically, representing Team USA has often boosted players' confidence and positively impacted their NBA performances. I'm convinced LeBron recognizes Reeves' potential and trusts in his game intelligence. I anticipate LeBron might ease up, giving Reeves more space to shine. But as with any sports discussion, it's subjective. So, I'm curious, what are your views on Austin Reeves taking on a pivotal role, and LeBron possibly playing a supporting one? How do you feel about LeBron's current form, and are you excited for his next season? Share your insights and opinions.